I'm Preston with Sprattronics Learning Lab, and today we are going to be building our ping pong ball catapult robot. And we're going to be building this in real time. I won't be making any cuts or fast forwarding or speeding this up. That way, if you want to build right alongside us, you can do that. We're starting off with 3 of these 9 long black beams, as well as these black pins that are going to hold everything together. And so this is going to be the very top of our ping pong ball launcher barrel. And I'm just going to set that off to the side. Next, I need 2 of these curved pieces and 2 of these black flat pieces. I'm going to grab a couple more black pins to connect these all together. And I want there to be a little bit of a gap from the blue to there. And the reason I want to do that is I'm going to be putting a yellow piece in here to extend things out. And I want this piece to be hanging out so that it can act as the plug-in for our barrel. So we're going to put a black pin in the very front and in the very back. And I like that this is smooth on the inside so nothing gets jammed up. And I'm going to attach it just like this so it hangs off the back just a little bit. I'll do the same thing over here. I need this to be the inside portion, so I'm going to need that to hang over just a hair. But again, we're going to be attaching these pieces right here, and then it can hang over just like that. And I built these, I think, identical, which I don't want. Flip this one around. Set it here. I want it to go this way. Excellent. That looks exactly like how I want it. Now we need to work on the way we're going to hold all this together on the bottom. And so we'll take one of these black squares, and I need a couple of these gray H pieces, and I'm going to plug these in down here. And mine have been kind of chewed up, so they don't always grip as well as they can. We'll make something like that. Now we're going to get 6 of these black pins, and these black pins are just going to plug in into those gray pieces. And 2 more black pins to make it 6. And we're going to plug 2 of them into the front here. And into that front, we're going to put one of these black pieces like this. And this is just going to add some extra grip to everything and allow it to hold everything together. So we are now at a point where we are ready to attach a couple of these blue pins. We'll put a couple of these blue pins underneath the overhang. Grab 2 more. 2 more blue pins here. And now we'll put these little yellow 3 long beams in place. So we're looking good so far. These pieces are all about to come together. I'm going to go ahead and set these 2 out so I don't forget them. And we can add 1 more black piece just above these 2 blue pieces. So we've got all these pins here locked together. We're now just about ready to attach everything. So the yellow parts are going to be the very front of our barrel. And before we do anything, we want to attach our roof to it. That fits in perfectly. Flip this around so the yellow is facing the front. You'll see all these are lined up pretty well so that we can attach a piece. And then this is going to attach, line it up with the very, nope, right there. We skip 1 hole and attach it right there. And then we can attach 2 more black pins right here. And now these blue L pieces are going to lock everything together. So now we have a very sturdy barrel ready to go. These two black pieces hang out the very back. This is where we're going to plug it into our turret, which is going to launch the ping pong balls. One thing we'll go ahead and add on is these two black pieces right here, and these are going to be used when we attach this to our robot. So our barrel is done. We can set it off to the side. Now that the barrel is finished, we are ready to build our turret launcher. And so we're going to start with the large angular motor, and into the top of this motor, we're going to be attaching some black pins into the very top of this. So it looks like I'm going to use 4 to start. And what we'll be doing is we will be building a turret mechanism that's going to launch our ping pong balls. And so now I'm working on the side that has the motor that rotates. This side actually won't be attached to much of anything. We'll put those pieces there. Let's get a tan piece to go right down here. And now I'm going to get a couple of long blue beams. These long blue beams are going to be the guidelines that guide our turret through there. So we'll put those right on top. And later on in the build, we'll be attaching another beam that's going to be used to launch everything. But before we do that, we want to build out the sides so that this can plug in to the barrel later on. We're going to use a short blue beam, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 long. We'll be attaching it to these two black pieces all the way out so it's even right there. And let's go ahead and build our very first grabber or plug-in that's going to attach there. So we're going to take one of these black curved pieces, and into the side of this black curved piece, I want just a gray H as well as one black pin. And we're going to plug that into the middle one, I think. We'll plug it into the bottom. We'll take a purple piece that looks just like this, and we need a tan piece, which is going to plug into here on the opposite side, and it's going to hold our purple piece together. So we'll make it look just like that. And what we'll do is we'll attach this black piece, and it'll only hold into one spot onto that part. So it can turn right now. But we're going to hold it up in place, and then using this piece right here, we're going to plug it into the side. So it's going to grab that beam and grab that. So now this is pretty solid. Ready now to flip this around and start building on this side. Grab a couple of black pins and a short yellow piece. This short yellow axle is going to plug right in here. This is where our mechanism is going to be running. And those two black pins you're going to plug in back here. And into those black pins, we're going to hang one of these purple pieces. We're just trying to give ourselves some space to start building out so that this will plug in right over here. Into that purple piece, we want to add, let's say, 2 black pins. I don't like that black pin, it's broken. 2 black pins will go into it, just right there in the middle. And into that, I'm going to be able to attach one of these blue L pieces. And so that's pretty strong right there. Get that piece out of here. Our mechanism that is going to rotate around and cause our turret to sling back is going to be this yellow piece right here. And so you'll see that it can rotate all the way around because we've built that gap in back there. To hold that into place, we are going to add one of these white pieces that can plug right into the axle. It looks just like that. And now we've started to build out far enough where we are ready to build our next arm that's going to plug into everything. So you get a black arm. Let's get this further back. And into this piece, we're gonna attach a black piece into the very end, and then we're gonna skip one hole and attach a tan piece. That's gonna let us plug this in just like that. And it's not gonna be totally solid in there, but we're gonna strengthen it up. We'll grab one of these gray pieces, and into this gray piece, we are going to attach a tan pin as well as a black pin. And these are gonna let us plug it into the very end, right there. Now, I wanna make this just a little bit stronger, so we need to attach these two pieces together. We do that using one of these blue pieces with a black pin and a tan pin. And so the tan pin is going to go into the white piece. And actually, we're gonna use two tan pins to do this. Now it can plug in just like that. So now we've got a pretty strong base over here. I want to just make sure everything lines up. So I'm going to turn it around. This is too long. I put this piece in the wrong spot. So I'm going to flip it around. That's why we test throughout, and that will plug in just right. As I look at that, I see I need to take this gray piece off, and we're gonna go up one notch. So it will be just a hair higher. Let's go there. Now this will line up and everything will plug in just right. But we're not ready to plug it in yet. We're gonna build our launching mechanism on the very top. To make our launching mechanism, we need a long black beam. This one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 long, and we'll just drop it right into our track for our turret. Into the very back of the turret, we're going to drop in two of these blue long beams, and then on top of those, we're going to drop down one of these yellow beams to hold this in place. The next thing we want to do is something similar on the very front, using two blue pins as far up as you can go. And into those, we're going to attach one of these black T-pieces, and it'll be pointing forward. So we still have our turret piece down here that is now almost all the way trapped inside. The next piece we're digging around for is going to be one of these gray H pieces. Let's slide our turret piece up just a little bit. So you'll see this long black beam, and to the very back of it, I'm gonna put a blue piece, and then I'm gonna skip 3 holes, 1, 2, 3, and into that next hole, attach another blue piece. And this is gonna let me attach that H piece right there. Onto the top of this, to hold it all together, we're gonna be using one of these short 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 long purple pieces. That'll plug in right there, no problem. And into the top of that, the very back, we're gonna add one of these ball joints. This is what's going to allow us to attach a rubber band shortly to that. Now we're not quite done yet. We need to do something similar up here to the very front. And it looks like I want to use 2 more blue pieces, but I don't think I have any more blue pieces. Oh no, there they are. I have these 2 black pins. I've used up all my blue pins. So into the front of this, I'm going to add 2 black pins. So you'll see that black pin there, right in between the 2 blues, and one at the very front. And into the top of that, I'll be attaching a purple pin as well. That'll go out a little bit farther. And into the very front of that purple pin, I want to attach another ball joint. And whenever they're real close together, they'll look like they are 1 long purple piece, but it's actually 2 long purple pieces. I want to lock everything in now using these long blue pieces, and so they will just go from one end to the other, covering up those blue pins. Another one on this side. This is going to hold our beam in place, so now it can't come out. unless we take those apart. We need to build something right here that's going to allow our mechanism to push the turret back. So right into this piece, we're going to take another one of those gray H pieces, looks just like this, plug it into there. There we go. And now we will take a blue L shape and plug it right here. And now that is attached together very nicely. And so when this rotates around, it's going to push that back. But we want this to come forward every time. So the last step that we're going to do is I'm going to grab my 2 yellow rubber bands from my kit, or you could just use any rubber bands and double them up. And we attach 2 rubber bands to each other. And then this is going to make it so that whenever the yellow piece goes around, it'll push this back and launch it back forward. So your turret is now complete. Now that it's finished, we might as well attach the barrel to the turret. There's no reason to wait on that. And so that this black piece is what's going to come in contact with the ping pong ball. Line up my gray pieces on both sides. There we go. So now I have my barrel attached to my turret. This gray piece plugged in there, this gray piece plugged in there. You could add some more pieces right here to lock it into place even better if you wanted to. This piece keeps falling off, and it's because I've got a bad gray piece right there. But that's the turret. The final thing we need to build for this driving ping pong launching bot is going to be our driving base. And I'm basing this driving base on the delivery bot lesson. I'm going to need my 2 medium-sized motors. I'll go ahead and set out my tires as well, because I'll be using those. That looks good. And I want to just put these motors in the very back. So what I'll do is plug in a couple of black pins. Probably do just 3 because I know that'll be strong enough to hold it in place just along each of these corners. Just put that there, put that there. I want to make this a little sturdier, and I always recommend sandwiching pieces together so that they stay locked in. We're going to sandwich them in using the purple square, or the purple rectangle. Let's do the same thing we did earlier. We will plug in 6 black pins, making just a corner onto each motor. 3 here. Plug that piece right down there, and that's locked in. We will stuff these wires through that cage for our wire management. That way they're not grabbing the ground, dragging the ground. And the last piece we need is we need a universal track ball. In the very front, I'm going to use one of our H pieces plugged into the track ball, plugged into the very front. So when I turn this over, it'll be lifted up just a little bit. Let's go ahead and attach the wheels now. I like to use the short yellow axles going into each motor. I also like to use a black pin so that I don't tear up those axle pieces. So into each wheel, we'll add 2 black pins and then slide that on and it'll plug right in. Let's do 2 more into the other tire. there, and then it'll plug into the holes. There we go. If you want, you can attach the white arrow pieces so you can see which way your wheels are pointing. We need to attach our hub back here now, and I see I've already plugged in a few pieces there, so I'm going to need to probably just put some black pieces along the front of this hub to let it hold on. So across the front, I've put 4 black pins in. I can just set these down. There we go. And now I'm ready to plug in my motors. Terrific, those are plugged in. Those wires are out of the way. A fun idea for this one is to use your distance sensor so that it can blast whenever it gets within a certain distance of a piece. At this point, you've probably used up a lot of your black pieces. So what we can do is we're gonna take these curved gray pieces and just plug them right in to your distance sensor. Plug the distance sensor in. I like to have the, it doesn't matter, the wire's out of the way. Plug the distance sensor in just a little bit back from the front. There we go. So that it's lined up right in the front. We'll plug this in the middle here. That wire's out of the way. And our driving base is finished. The last thing we need to do is attach our turret onto the top. I'm going to use 2 of these black pins to do that. And if you've run out of black pins, or 2 of these black beams, these are the longest black beams you have, purple pieces attached to the edge. And I can just set them right there on the very end. And then, just like we just did, now these pieces can attach. Now I'm gonna go there. Getting harder and harder to find black pins as we get this far along in the build. I'm gonna line it up on the other side. I can hold these in place using the gray pin pieces. This made a slight gap. It's gonna let this drop down in between the 2. And then we hold it in place using a gray pin on both sides. So you can adjust the angle. I want a lower angle for this, so that one's gonna go there. And on the other side, I plug a gray pin. See that none of that was on the camera. So let's rotate this up just a little bit. You'll see that we attached those right there. And finally, we can plug in our turret, and we're ready to code this bot. You can check out the other video for how we coded this bot, but this is ready to launch. Nice job building.